As I settled onto the table, the skimpy fabric shifted. My breasts spilled out of the top entirely, baring themselves to the cool air. Aware that my chest was so revealed, a wave of heat rushed to my face. But at the same time, the friction of the movement sent a fresh jolt of pleasure through me, making me let out a soft moan. The dampness between my legs intensified. The empty ache was back, and it was agonizing. However, Liam seemed unfazed by my body. He picked up a bottle of light red essential oil and explained calmly, "I'll start with some essential oils to relax your body and mind. It is also very good for the skin. Later, I'll use a special cream for the deep tissue work. It'll help soothe the congestion in your system." Liam rubbed the oil between his palms to warm it up. Then his hot hands pressed down against the skin of my stomach. I tensed involuntarily. "Don't be nervous," he said. "I'm going to start now." At first, I couldn't help but be tense. But when I realized that Liam's focus was entirely on the task at hand, I finally began to relax. He really was a professional. Smiling, Liam said, "Miss Farrell, I don't think I've ever had a client as beautiful as you." Really, I was lost in the sensation of his strong fingers kneading my muscles. My eyes were half closed in bliss. At his words, I gave a shy chuckle. "I know you are just being polite. I am 30 now. My husband is always complaining that I am past my prime." Liam shook his head firmly. His hands began to wander, trailing across my skin as he spoke, as if he were touching a masterpiece. "Your skin is as smooth as silk, just like a young woman in her 20s. His fingers glided down to my waist, then drifted lower. "Your figure is incredible too. It is perfectly curved." Liam brushed the hem of my sheer panties with his fingertips, then grazed the sensitive skin of my inner thighs. "A woman's charm lies in being curvy in all the right places. I've never cared for the ladies who try to be nothing but skin and bones." Finally, he pulled his hands away at the perfect moment, leaving only the residual warmth of his fingers scattered across my body. The heat was so intense that it made me tremble all over. If I had a wife as gorgeous as you, I'd never let her get so lonely that it made her sick. Whether it was his seductive, honeyed words or his expert touch, I felt a fever rising in my blood. My cheeks flushed. And when I turned my head away, damp strands of hair clung to my cheeks. I didn't even realize that his words alone were giving me a rush I'd never felt before. Dazed, I looked up at him, waiting for what came next. Liam stood and reached for a jar of white cream. As he rubbed it between his palms, he said, "The essential oil was just to get you relaxed. Now, I'll begin the real treatment. This is our signature cream, specially formulated for your condition. But for this to work, I'll need to touch some of your sensitive areas. Is that okay with you, Gemma?" The way he suddenly switched to calling me by my first name left my heart in a flutter. Since turning 30, I hadn't been treated with this kind of tenderness by anyone. "Yeah, go ahead," I replied. Liam blinked and thought at me. "All right, we'll start with the chest." After saying that, he reached out his large, cream-covered hands. This time, they cupped both of my breasts fully. The cream had a faint herbal scent and felt cool against my skin. The contrast between the heat of his palms and the chill of the cream stimulated the tips of my breasts. I couldn't help but look down. The white cream was spread across my chest, smeared thin by his large hands as they kneaded and rubbed the soft flesh. The sight was incredibly lewd. It looked exactly as if that stuff had been smeared all over my chest. A soft moan escaped me, followed immediately by a wave of shame. God, how could I make a sound like that? I bit my lip hard. Liam noticed my embarrassment and said gently, "It is okay. If it feels good, let it out. You're here to let go, aren't you?" My last shred of inhibition crumbled. As he worked, I let out a series of short, suggestive moans. The fire inside me was roaring now, and that hollow ache was threatening to consume me entirely. I was losing control. Liam spread his fingers, fully anchoring his hands around my breasts. He kneaded them in a rhythmic, circular motion, his palm pressing down on my tips with every single turn. As he pressed harder,